So good afternoon, friends. So let's start. Today's topic is motor insurance. So I'm your trainer for the day, Mayuri Srivastava. So today, what is motor insurance? How does it work? What are the perils wherein the claim will trigger? What are the exclusions in your rather, I'll say, what are the standard exclusions in your motor policy? And some basic terminologies that are used in your motor insurance policies. So starting with motor insurance. So what we'll be covering today is the concepts. Yes, we won't be touching on the add-ons. If time permits, we will touch the Tajik underwriting guidelines for the private car. We'll see in very short how the premium is calculated. We'll be touching important terminologies. We'll be touching the documentation process as well. Now coming to the concepts. The concept, since we've already seen what is an insurance being a contract between the insured and the insurer, here motor insurance is a contract between insured and the insurance company, that is the insurer, wherein insured pays a premium for the policy to protect his vehicle against damage, theft, death, or injury in an accident and liability against a third party. In motor insurance, a third party cover is mandatory. Now, this is what the MV Act says कि motor third party insurance is mandatory. Later on, we'll be touching what do we mean by third party cover. Now, the history of motor insurance, rather, I'll say. First Motor Vehicle Act was passed in 1939, wherein TP insurance was made mandatory. Now, this MV Act, it keeps on getting amended. So, later on, your MV Act of 1939 was amended and it was replaced by the Act of 1989, or rather, I'll say it was made in 88 and it came into force in 89. Now even this MV Act 1989 has been amended and now we have the latest MV Act 2019. Now these are the previous chapters. Now some of these chapters in the latest MV Act has been deleted or it has been merged into one chapter. But it says that chapter 10, 11 and 12 of MV Act deals with mandatory third party cover. And here if you go into the depth of these chapters of MV Act, it says that vehicles operated by central state government and local authority for government purpose are exempted for by taking a mandatory third party insurance. Now, why motor insurance, or why do you need a motor policy? So this is a classic case. Now by just looking at the picture, you can see there are two vehicles involved and there's a huge financial loss in the terms the subject matter insured, that is the motor vehicle, there's a one commercial vehicle truck, or it a tanker, and one private car. Now both the vehicles had been damaged. Wonder if the people sitting inside are also injured. So we have so many claims over here. So later on in the entire session, we'll go through okay, how does the own damage section, first what do we mean by a own damage section, kiski galti rahi hogi, was it the fault of the car owner or the car driver or the trailer driver. So we'll go into depth on those parts. This is again a classic case of a OD claim. So this is some of the pictures wherein your motor insurance will come in, or rather will trigger. Now coming to motor insurance. Now this definition or this classification, it is not as such, it is done by I'll say private companies, or this is a classification done by Tata AIG, but this classification is basically done by your Indian motor tariff. So the very first here, if I say motor insurance is basically divided into three segments. The very first thing is private car, then you have two-wheeler, and last but not the least, we have commercial vehicles. Now you need to understand what do we mean by these terminologies. So when I say it is a private car says that the vehicle, any four-wheeler, any vehicle which is used for pleasure, domestic and social purpose is termed as a private car. इन तीनों के अलावा if the vehicle is used for any other purpose, then it won't be classified as a private car. Yes, but here you can see it's not that it is privately owned or that doesn't come into picture, because there are many private cars which are owned by the organizations or commercial body also. For example, I do have a car in the name of my company, say about hypothetically Tata AIG. So here the owner of the vehicle is Tata AIG, but I am using that vehicle for my own pleasure, domestic and social purpose only. So that is termed as your private car. Again, we have the next definition, two-wheeler. Now here two-wheeler also, it is the same definition. It is just the two-wheeler which is used for pleasure, domestic and social purpose. Is termed as two-wheelers over here. Coming to commercial vehicles are basically the vehicles which are used to earn money, simple for commercial purpose. So any vehicle which I'm using it to earn money is termed as a commercial vehicle. So if it is a four-wheeler, if I'm using it as a taxi maxi, so here I'm using my four-wheeler or a tourist car, then here I'm using my four-wheeler for earning money, for earning a livelihood. So the car will then not fall into private car, but it will fall into commercial vehicle. Similarly, your bikes over here. Now, these bikes, if you go to Goa and all, you get your bikes on hire. Now, these vehicles are used as a commercial purpose and not for social pleasure or domestic purpose. So, that those two-wheelers in Goa will come under this commercial vehicle section. So, we have motor insurance is into three sections: private car, two-wheelers and commercial vehicles. Now, private car and two-wheelers, we do not have much bifurcation. Private car, if you look at it, we'll later on see it. It is basically divided into depending upon the cc, less than 1000 cc or 1000 to 1500 cc or greater than 1500 cc, just that way. Similarly, two-wheelers are basically depending upon the cc. Whereas if you see into commercial vehicles are again divided into many different segments. So commercial vehicle can be divided into goods carrying vehicle, it can be a passenger carrying vehicle, or it can be a misty or miscellaneous vehicle. So initially, what do we mean by goods carrying vehicle? Any vehicle which is used to carry goods is termed as goods carrying. So it can be a truck, it can be Tempa, it can be your Chota Hathi, it can be Atul Shakti, it can be any vehicle. It can even be goods carrying in the three-wheeler, it can be six-wheelers, it can be a big trailer to carry goods. So those are termed as your goods carrying vehicle. Passenger carrying vehicle, any vehicle that carries passengers are termed as passenger carrying vehicle. So it can be an auto rickshaw, it can be your taxis, it can be your Tata Indica, Santro, it can be Kalipili taxis, or it can be a Swaraj Mazda, it can be a full-fledged Volvo bus. Any vehicle which carries passengers are termed as your passenger carrying vehicle. Third, we have miscellaneous vehicle. Now, what do we mean by miscellaneous vehicle? So, miscellaneous vehicles are basically the vehicles which neither carry goods, neither carry passengers. So, those vehicles which neither carry goods or passengers are termed as miscellaneous vehicle. Now, what kind of miscellaneous vehicle? So, let's take an example. For example, you have a crane. Okay. Now the crane neither carries goods neither carries your passengers. It is used for certain commercial work, so that will come under miscellaneous. If I talk about the tractors, now tractors can be bifurcated into two. If the tractors are used for agricultural purpose, then it will fall under miscellaneous vehicle. But if these tractors and trolleys are used for carrying goods at some construction site, then that tractors will fall under passenger goods carrying vehicle. So tractors which are used for agricultural practice, for basically to plow the field, to have certain equipments attached to the tractor for your harvesting and all those stuff. even for carrying the finished, I'll say, the agricultural products from the village to the market. Even those kind of things are allowed in agricultural tractors, and those tractors will fall under miscellaneous. Next, for miscellaneous vehicle, you can think about excavators. You can think about bulldozers, which are RTO pass definitely. Then you can think about your JCBs and all those stuff. So these are termed as your miscellaneous vehicle, which neither carry goods nor passengers. Miscellaneous ke andar even you can think about the cinematography vehicles, the vehicles which are modified into having those equipments fitted to it, those big antennas and disc fitted to it. You can have your ambulances in miscellaneous vehicle, because ambulances doesn't even carry passengers or goods, they carry patients basically. So those are the vehicles which will come under your miscellaneous category. So basically commercial vehicles on Indian motor tariff kind of thing. And in terms of rating purpose, we have goods carrying vehicle, passenger carrying vehicle, and miscellaneous vehicle. Again, coming to goods carrying vehicle, we have public carrier and we have private carrier. Even for passenger carrying and miscellaneous, these three categories are again subcategorized into public carrier and private carrier. Now, what do you mean by public carrier and private carrier? So, suppose I am, not suppose, I'm based out of Ahmedabad. Now, here we do have many buses. We do have Gujarat State Transport Corporation ki buses, and we do have Nita Volvos and Patel Volvos. So suppose I want to travel from Ahmedabad to say about Mumbai using these buses. Now you just need to think, if I'm traveling from uh, Ahmedabad to Mumbai using GSRCTs, that is Gujarat State buses, then will that be termed as public carrier or private carrier? Or secondly, I'm using that Nita Volvos or Patel Volvos buses. So will those be considered as public carrier or private carrier? Public, okay. So very true. It is a public carrier. Now, how do you define a public carrier and a private carrier? So public carrier, here I'll introduce one more definition. A definition of hire and reward. Now, what do you mean? It is not hire and purchase, it is hire and reward. What do we mean by hire and reward? Hire and reward is nothing but a license from an RTO which permits you to carry goods or passengers from one place to another in lieu of money. आपको वो लाइसेंस है जो आप एक जगह से दूसरे जगह पैसेंजर्स या गुड्स को ले जा सकते हैं और बदले में पैसे चार्ज कर सकते हैं. So this definition is the definition of hire and reward. So whichever commercial vehicle runs on hire and reward license is termed as your public carrier, and any other vehicle which is run for your private usage is termed as your private carrier. Now, public and private, let's take certain example in passenger carrying vehicles. So it says that passenger carrying के अंदर public vehicle can be your Nita Volvos, can be Patel Volvos, it can be your GSRTC buses, can be any vehicles. Why? Because me, you, or anybody can buy a ticket and travel in those buses. So those buses are termed as public carrier. Now, what do you mean by then private carrier? So if you see the staff bus, the school bus, or other vehicles which the hotel people have it, they give it on services, are termed as private carrier. So what do we mean by private carrier? It is having only a limited use. So let's see staff buses. So it is say about Apollo Tire staff bus which is running in Baroda. So here neither me neither you can use that buses officially by paying an extra money. कि ठीक है आप ना मेरे से टिकट का भाड़ा ले लो और आप मुझे ना इस जगह से उस जगह छोड़ दो. No, वो प्राइवेट कैरियर्स के अंदर सो सॉरी दे नॉट ऑथराइज टू यूज इट एज अ हायर एंड रिवॉर्ड. सो उनका एक वो है कि हम खाली ये लिमिटेड हम खाली अपोलो टायर्स के स्टाफ को वी विल बी कैरिंग दोज स्टाफ ओनली एंड ऑल अदर पर्सन एंड दोज जो भी पैसा है या जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है दैट इज विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन.